The international break has arrived at a really interesting moment for Rangers, because when the football returns, we are heading into what can only be described as one of the most intense title runs in recent Scottish football history. There are only a handful of matches left, but every single one of them feels massive, and that is why people around the club keep calling them cup finals. It is not just a dramatic way of speaking, it is the reality of the situation. With three teams still capable of winning the title, every match from this point forward carries enormous pressure, and there is absolutely no room for mistakes. The players know it, the staff know it, and the supporters definitely know it as well. This is the kind of run that defines seasons, defines managers, and sometimes even defines entire eras at a football club. While all eyes are obviously on the title race and the performances on the pitch, behind the scenes the club is already working hard on the plans for the summer. That is just how modern football works now. You cannot wait until the season finishes to start planning transfers and squad changes. From what we are hearing, the board are prepared to back the manager and make sure the squad is stronger going into next season. There is a feeling that the club wants to move forward in a more structured and ambitious way, not just reacting to situations, but actually building something long-term. Supporters have been wanting that kind of stability and direction for a long time, and now there is a sense that the people running the club are thinking like a modern football organization, looking at recruitment, player development, and long-term value rather than just short-term fixes. Of course, whenever we talk about summer planning, most fans immediately think about new signings, new attacking players, new midfielders, and the excitement that comes with transfers. But there is another side to the transfer window, and that is the interest in players who are already at the club. When a team is performing well and players are developing properly, other clubs start paying attention. That is exactly what is happening right now with one Rangers player in particular who has had a very impressive season and has grown into one of the most talked about defenders at the club. His performances have not gone unnoticed, and now there are clubs from different countries keeping a very close eye on him ahead of the summer transfer window. What makes this situation interesting is not just the number of clubs that are reportedly interested, but also the kind of transfer fee being discussed. The numbers being mentioned are very high, especially when you think about the transfer market in Scotland over the past years. Traditionally, Scottish clubs have struggled to push transfer fees to the same level as clubs in countries like Portugal, the Netherlands, or Belgium, where clubs regularly sell players for very large amounts of money. Rangers now seem to be trying to change that perception and raise the value of their players. Instead of selling quickly when a decent offer arrives, the club appears to be more patient and more confident in demanding higher fees, especially for young players with potential and strong performances. This is a big change in mentality compared to how things were done in the past. Before, if a good offer came in, there was always a feeling that the club might accept it because the money was important. Now, the strategy seems to be different. The idea is to build a reputation as a club that develops talent but does not sell cheaply. If clubs want Rangers' best players, they are going to have to pay serious money. That is how clubs in other European leagues have managed to grow financially and become stronger over time. They sell players for big fees, reinvest that money into new talent, and keep the cycle going. It looks like Rangers want to follow a similar model and become much stronger in the transfer market over the next few years. At the same time, the player at the center of all this attention is still focused on his football, and that is important. When a young player starts getting attention from big clubs, it can sometimes affect performances, but so far that does not seem to be the case. He has continued to perform well, looks confident on the ball, strong defensively, and has shown that he can handle big matches and high-pressure situations. That is exactly why clubs are interested in him. They are not just looking at potential, they are looking at performances right now. If he continues playing at this level until the end of the season, the interest is only going to grow stronger, and the summer could become very interesting for both the player and the club. For Rangers, the key thing will be making the right decision at the right time. Selling a player for a record fee can be very important for the club's finances and long-term planning, but replacing a top performer is never easy. That is why the recruitment team will already be working on different scenarios, preparing in case a big offer arrives. This is how well-run clubs operate. They plan for every possibility. They have replacement targets ready, and they make decisions that benefit the club not just for one season, but for many seasons ahead. The next few months could be very important not only for the title race, but also for the future direction of the squad and the club as a whole. While all the talk about big transfer fees and interest from clubs across Europe continues, Rangers are also quietly looking at the future of the squad from within. And one of the most interesting developments comes from a young attacking player who is starting to build a lot of attention inside the club. Over the past year, his development has been steady rather than explosive, but sometimes that is exactly what you want to see from a young player. Instead of being rushed into the first team too early, he has been given time to adapt, to improve physically, and to understand the demands of professional football at the highest level in Scotland. The coaching staff have been monitoring his progress very closely, and there is a growing belief that he could play an important role in the future of the Rangers' attack. His journey over the last season has been all about gaining experience. Making a senior debut at a young age is always a big moment for any academy player, but what matters most is what happens after that debut. Some players disappear for a while, others push forward and keep developing, and in this case the club decided that the best step for his development was to send him out on loan so he could play regular first-team football. That decision is already starting to look like a very smart move because consistent minutes on the pitch are often the most important thing for young players. Training with the first team is important, but nothing replaces real match experience, dealing with pressure, playing in competitive matches, and learning how to handle difficult moments during games. Since moving on loan, he has started to show more confidence in his game. When young attacking players start playing regularly, you often see improvements in decision-making, movement, and overall confidence on the ball. That seems to be exactly what is happening here. Rangers are watching his progress very closely because they believe he has the versatility that modern football demands. He is not just a player who can play in one position. He can operate on the wings, he can play further forward, and he is comfortable moving across the attacking line. That flexibility is extremely valuable for any manager because it gives more tactical options and allows the team to change shape during matches without making substitutions. Another important factor is his attitude and work rate, which are things that coaches always pay attention to when deciding whether a young player is ready for the first team. Talent alone is never enough at a big club. Players need discipline, consistency, and the right mentality to handle pressure and expectations. From what we are hearing, the staff are very impressed not just with his ability, but also with his professionalism and willingness to learn. That is usually a very good sign for long-term success because players who listen, improve, and work hard every day are the ones who eventually become important first-team players. Looking ahead to next season, Rangers could be going through changes in the attacking areas of the squad. That happens in football all the time, especially when there are transfer windows and interest in different players. Because of that, opportunities can open up for younger players who are ready to step into the squad and compete for places. The club does not want to rely only on signing new players every year. Developing players from within the club is also very important, both financially and for the identity of the team. Supporters always like to see young players come through the system and become first-team players because it creates a stronger connection between the team and the fans. What makes this situation even more interesting is the timing. With the season approaching its most important stage and the summer transfer window not too far away, the club is basically planning two things at the same time. On one side, they are fighting for trophies and trying to finish the season as strongly as possible. On the other side, they are planning the squad for next season, looking at which players might leave, which positions need strengthening, and which young players could be ready to step up into bigger roles. It is a very busy period behind the scenes, even if fans mostly focus on what happens during the matches. So over the next few months, there are going to be several important stories to follow. The title race, potential big transfers, and the development of young players who could become important parts of the squad in the future. All of these things are happening at the same time, and they are all connected because the decisions made in the summer will shape the team for the next few seasons. Rangers are clearly trying to build something more stable and more competitive, not just for 1 year, but for the long term, and that means making smart decisions with transfers, player development, and squad planning as the club moves forward into the next chapter. Another point that cannot be ignored is how important this next transfer window could be in defining the direction of the club for the next few years. When a team is competing at the top and at the same time developing young players while attracting interest from bigger leagues, that usually means the club is doing something right behind the scenes. Rangers seem to be moving into that kind of phase now, where performances on the pitch and planning off the pitch are starting to align. The supporters always want immediate success, which is normal at a club of this size. But building a strong squad also requires patience, smart recruitment, and giving opportunities to the right young players at the right time. If you look at successful clubs across Europe that operate outside the very richest leagues, many of them follow a similar model. They develop players, they give them opportunities, those players perform well, and then eventually some are sold for big transfer fees. That money is then reinvested into the squad, new young players are signed, and the cycle continues. It is a model that allows clubs to grow financially while still remaining competitive on the pitch. Rangers appear to be trying to move closer to that structure, where the club is not forced to sell, but when they do sell, it is for a significant amount that helps strengthen the squad overall. At the same time, the most important thing right now is still what happens on the pitch when the league returns. All the transfer talk, all the rumors, and all the planning for next season will mean nothing if the team does not perform during this final run of matches. The players know that they are in a position where every game matters, every point matters, and one mistake could change the entire title race. These are the moments that define players and define teams. Some players step up when the pressure is highest, and those are the players who become remembered by supporters for years to come. The manager will also have a huge role to play in these final matches, not just with tactics, but with mentality and squad management. Keeping players focused during an international break can sometimes be difficult because some players travel, some stay, and the rhythm of the season gets interrupted. But when everyone returns, the focus has to be immediate. There is no time to slowly get back into form. The team has to be ready from the first match back because, as everyone keeps saying, these really are like cup finals now. The intensity, the pressure, and the importance of every moment will be very high until the end of the season. So when you look at the bigger picture, Rangers are in a very interesting position right now. They are fighting for a title in what could be one of the most dramatic finishes in recent years. They have players attracting serious interest from clubs across Europe, and they have young talent developing that could become important parts of the team in the future. All of these things together show a club that is in a moment of transition, but also a moment of opportunity. And the way they handle these next few months could shape the future of Rangers for a long time. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. A whisper has begun to circle through the terraces and backrooms of Scottish football, one that could soon gather into something far louder. Motherwell, a side long praised for its resilience and eye for emerging talent, may be on the brink of losing one of its most intriguing attacking figures. Tawanda Masswinheis, whose pace and directness have caught more than a few admiring glances this season, is now being quietly linked with a move to Rangers. Sources close to the situation suggest that interest from Ibrox has been building steadily rather than appearing overnight. It's said that recruitment staff have been monitoring the forward's development for some time, impressed not only by his technical ability, but also by his composure in high-pressure moments. While no formal announcement has surfaced, the growing chatter hints that discussions may already be underway behind closed doors. For Motherwell supporters, the potential departure would be a sore one. Masswinheis has offered a spark in the final third, the sort of unpredictability that can turn a tight match on its head. Losing that edge, especially to a domestic rival, would undoubtedly raise questions about how the squad could be reshaped moving forward. From Rangers' perspective, the move would align with a strategy that blends immediate impact with long-term promise. Bringing in a player already acclimatized to the Scottish game could prove a shrewd bit of business, particularly if the fee remains within a manageable range. There's also the sense that Masswinheis' ceiling has yet to be reached, making him an appealing prospect for a side seeking to strengthen its attacking options. As ever with such speculation, much remains uncertain. Deals can stall as quickly as they emerge, and interest does not always translate into agreement. Yet the persistence of this particular rumor suggests there may be substance beneath the surface. Whether it materializes into a completed transfer or fades into the background noise of the season remains to be seen. But for now, the possibility alone is enough to set tongues wagging across the Scottish game. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.